0.01 percentile above zero chance of ever getting to that point of someone being on BBC or ITV News. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, not realising what it took to get that. I just thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that one day, man. Like, not realising, I didn't really do the research, but not realising the chance of me getting to that position is and was minuscule.
So why'd you say
so?
that?
Because French made the point about this dream that we're sold, that you can kind of be what you want to be, like be everything you want to be. If you have a dream, you'll definitely get there. Just keep working hard. Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. Like, not that we have different views. Not that we have different views or opinions. It's a case of like the girl who I spoke to today. Again, I forget where we were in the conversation, but she was talking about script writing. This is far away from what she did for her degree. She did something in pharmaceuticals. So she was talking about script writing, and she said like she would show her to her friends, and videos as well, and they'll say that's awesome, you should put it out, and then she never would. And then somewhere in the conversation, I was like, with some of the stuff that I've done, if I don't believe in me, then there's no way in hell I can expect anyone else to believe in me. Certainly at my age, but certainly when you're younger, like I think you should be a bit more fearless. Do you know what I'm saying? It's funny actually, because I thought about you at that moment actually, because I remember this is something you've said a few times as to like putting out content. Like 2-3 weeks, like you put something out in 2-3 days time.
Your old news.
Yeah. Do you know, I thought
It's
at that specific moment.
That I've realised, especially because I know that even to do with like our thing and you know people are going to be out. I realised we're in a day and age where we're old news as soon as it's released. Do you get what I'm saying? It's old news as soon as it's like, if that makes sense. Something else is coming out at that same moment. 5 seconds later, that's now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was going to add. So Jake, all right. Now it'd be interesting to get his take and opinion on where he is now. All right. Whereas when we were, I'll go down as far as saying 10, 11, 12. Like him being anything other than a journalist, I wouldn't have seen it. Just based on what I saw, as in like he was writing articles for in the Gazette, and the things that like his dad would do and put in place in regards to him, like I don't know, just doing those articles. Or remember Jake, this person scored this, that, not that he didn't remember. Yeah. What I'm saying is, I forget where I was going with this. Is you're talking about the art. I don't know. I just feel like if you've got certain things in place in some respect, there's no reason why he was never going to be one. Whereas with yourself and becoming a news presenter, if there was one or two minor things just in place, particularly, I mean, now's a completely different day and time. There's no reason why you couldn't have been something alternative or different to what would be a presenter. There's loads of different people that I know who had different desires in regards to what they wanted to do. And I just feel like, look, mind you, I feel like there's a lot of talented people within our circle. And I genuinely believe if like people believed enough, there's no doubt in my mind they'll go on to achieve what they want to achieve. Do you know what I mean? Some of the things we discussed over the past week or so, and I just discussed this with Lawrence and Oscar, as to like mentors, back to even Jake. Do you know what I mean? His dad obviously living. Do you know what I mean? Jake. Do you know what I mean? And you've got that pathway. Bam. You know what I mean? He's a bona fide journalist. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what level you are, but he's a proper journalist. Do you know what I'm saying? It's of no surprise to me. From the moment I started playing football with this dude, he was writing articles in the local paper. Do you know what I mean? He was cutting them out every single, look there, look at me. I was putting his name in there, but like, fit his name in there somewhere. But like, joking in some respect, because obviously he was either scoring or da. But what I'm saying is like, he put in the work. It's of no surprise to me him being a journalist.
The process of making money. Introducing Jason. Jason was the exception to the rule. He established his first enterprise at the age of 9, reselling Ribena drinks and chocolate bars to classmates for a profit. Over time, Jason had become a playground entrepreneur, and he felt like the richest kid in the school. That's on page 50. Did you guys have any hustles in school?
Like, yes and no. Like, do you know, I felt I just flickered between loads of different things. From like, oh God, I know I didn't really sell loads of them, but I had a CD writer like for like making CDs and all that type of stuff. So it might be a case of I wasn't heavy. My knowledge of hip hop wasn't strong at the time. So I'll say like Lawrence probably got me into hip hop and all that type of stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? So when I was a bit more familiar, then I might be cutting CDs and, you know, might be selling the odd one here and there. I'm trying to think. I was big into phones and stuff like that. Like phones I was selling a lot. Yeah, a lot, actually.
How was you getting the phones?
Well, that's no one's business. But I mean, like, that's no one's business. So I wasn't stealing any phones. That I would say.
Yeah, so if you weren't seeing them, how was you getting them?
Might have been a little unethical, but I mean, like, a little unethical, but like, I made it work, and I made a lot of money, to be fair.
What about the bicycles? Was that after school?
Oh, sorry, I even forgot about that type of stuff. That was like uni-ish. No, that maybe before uni. Before uni, going into uni.
Had his youngers out here.
No, outside. Nobody outside. I had nobody outside.
His youngers outside.
I had nobody outside.
He had them outside, boy.
I had nobody outside. Yeah, so that would have been from, I don't know, it could be the back end of college, maybe. Just say back end of college, I think.
I'm more talking like school days.
Yeah,
like
sorry. All right, cool.
Primary school, secondary school.
Primary school, definitely not primary school. Secondary school, phones and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm gonna say phones and stuff like that. I wasn't really into the sweets and all that type of stuff. I think I was open to it, but I just never really thought that was really my bag. Yeah, definitely phones. Like towards the end of year 11, 9, 10, 11, definitely.
Cool.
I wasn't on all that Lucozade hustle and all that kind of stuff, donut hustle that people was on. But what I would say, I didn't have a hustle whereby I was making money. I would say had a couple hustles where I was saving money.
Okay.
So remember the weekly bus passes, the green ones?
Yeah.
Remember cut the numbers out and stick
that's
them out.
standard, yeah.
Then the blue ones were the monthly ones. You found a blue one, you could cut a little thing out.
How about the yearly ones?
I never had the yearly. I never had the yearly one. I never had the yearly one.
Different
yeah.
types.
So they'll be like, so as I said, say like using like year 9 or something. Mama might give me like a £2 to go to school with on the one day, or a £4 for the week. The weekly thing was a £4 back in the day, right? And then I could pocket that £4. That's mine now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that sounds bad when they say it like that, innit? Like,
Yeah, but that's what it was.
Like, you know, your mom's giving you £4, just give it back to her. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
But
but
then-
as you said, it was like a saving scheme. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
You was doing a little something to
Sustain. Do you know what I'm saying? Sustain. And then there was that, so the weekly stuff. And what else? And then eventually I moved on to the Freedom Pass.
Okay.
And then man got, you know what I'm saying? We'll talk about that separately. That was the first time man got nicked or about. But anyway, and I'm just trying to think. So that was one of them. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. I never had any hustles where I was going to school and coming out like by selling stuff, if that makes sense. Yeah. But where I could save a little money, even like probably more towards the end of like school years, but even when man used to go do the shopping thing, switching tags and stuff like that, just to save a little £30-40 here and there. Yeah,
there's loads of little different kind of scams, whether it's the trolleys, you go and collect the trolleys and get the pounds out and all that.
That's the other thing. So this just wasn't, and once again, this is not like, it wasn't like man was making money, but there used to be that do you remember the old school Edenball shopping? You know, like Morrison's and that is now. Remember, there used to be a little mini shopping centre. HV was upstairs.
Yeah.
Do you not remember?
Was it downstairs?
Downstairs was First Sport. HV was upstairs.
First Sport was deep in the back.
Deep in the back downstairs, and it turned to JD's. Remember?
Okay.
And McDonald's was down. You could walk through McDonald's and come out the other.
Yeah.
And then upstairs was HMV.
Cool.
Do you not remember?
I just didn't remember.
It was like a shopping. It was like his own shopping centre.
Yeah, a shopping centre. I don't remember HMV specifically.
Okay, it was only like his own little shopping centre. And then they used to have, remember those little machines you could put like a 20 pence in and then get some sweets or a toy? Yeah. If you wrapped a 1p, I don't know if you remember this hustle.
I see what you mean, yeah.
A 1p in paper. Do you not remember that? It would forward edges and then you could just get your little thing. So man would do that as well, which sounds silly now, 20 pence, but back in there it was a change, bro.
No, it was a something.
Yeah, so there was that as well. Yeah, loads of little things. I saw a man that we all know actually. He said, I'm going to quickly raise a change. Brother, this is when West Eden had a WH Smith's. We was in our school uniform, went in there, man picked up a pencil case. Remember like the kind of, I don't want to say metal, but that tin kind of pencil cases. Say that it cost like £6. Man just picked up a pencil case, went to the till and said, I want to return this. And they gave him £6.
Wait, no receipt?
No receipt, bro. He just picked it up, went to the shop.
Simple times.
He went into the shop, picked it up and went to the till. So I want to return this.
I do think about stuff like that sometimes as to like what might have looked difficult back then as to the story you just told, as to like returning a pencil case which was there, you know what I mean? Like, whereas like now, like to be able to get away with that, you just wouldn't be able to. Do you know what I mean?
The man them are moving different now. Now they just walk into a shop and pick up what they want and walk out, and no one's stopping them. Because back in the day, you're getting nicked for trying to. Police are turning up and nicking you if you're trying to thief out of a supermarket or shop. They're not doing that no more. So now people just like bait face. I'm just walking in. I'm taking what I want. I'm walking out. It's changed.
Yeah, no, simpler times back then you could do.
Yeah.
Walk into shop and demand a refund for something you ain't
That's
got.
insane.
Yeah, no, for me, I can't recall having specific hustles. Like you said, it was just like little different schemes and whatnot. I know at one point it was definitely Parker pens. Like that was a staple. You have loads of Parker pens in your.
I don't know why we were so hot on that, but I mean, like,
I would lick them, then cut them or swap them, and they'll try and sell them to. For some reason, that was a big thing. I still have a Parker pen today, actually.
You still got one?
Yeah.
Wow.
But someone bought it for me as a gift.
Okay.
But yeah,
They were such a
back
thing.
in the day. But yeah, no, it wasn't I didn't have any specific hustling, like let me. So I wasn't really on the donuts things because it just wasn't necessary because they're so cheap in the school anyway. So
Yeah.
but it wasn't until I left secondary school. That's when
things changed.
it was different.
The only other thing, left school, tried some little things here and there. I think I tried a thing with your people one time, actually. That didn't go too well with fucking Hassan.
I know you said that.
Yeah. So the thing, you try little hustles here and there, boy.
Yeah. But all right, going back to Jason's story. Jason's ambition to become successful was fueled by the feeling that school was only training him to work for other people, when what he really wanted was to work for himself. And that's on page 51. Thinking back to early influences, what were the influences you had that affected your path to work a 9-to-5 or go self-employment?
Good question.
For me, I think it's just my household. Like, you don't know my old man. He's a bit of a kind of man about town. But through all of that, he always worked. Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I might come into my yard and there's bits and bobs here and there, people turning up, cash exchanging. But through all that, the man would be up at like crack of dawn before I'm up for school. He's gone out the house to work. Mm-hmm. So that was always in my house, that it was a working household.
Yeah.
Then obviously my granddad, old school. It's weird because my granddad worked all his life, but like I can't actually remember him working. I know it sounds crazy, but it's probably because I would go and see him on a Saturday or something. So it's not like I've been in the house watching him work. But I know he was like an old school, work hard kind of thing. Same my grandma, she's working the factories in North Acton, like perfume factories and that, skincare cream and all that. Yeah, so it's just like I think like my close environment, my household, grandparents, that kind of. And then school as well. School kind of, the way the system set up is for you to kind of, it's structured for you to kind of get into employment, like into work. So I think that's kind of what's just why I'm on that path, like the working man's 9-to-5 kind of path.
I don't know, like I feel like the answers I'm going to provide are going to be quite conflictive because like, I was talking to a girl today and I think we were talking about a lot of like creative stuff and she was saying she wished she could like jump out the box she wished she was like that before. I think, what does she do now? She works for Estee Lauder, whatever it was. I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, she does something, works in events, whereas like her degree had nothing to do with that. I think her degree was in sciences. And she said like, she just like told her dad after she did a degree, she was like, I don't want to do this, dad. I want to kind of go in a different path. Said she like started from the very bottom and now she like runs events for, I can't even pronounce the brand's name. But she said she was in Paris recently, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And sorry. And somewhere within there, I was telling her, I just feel from the age of like 15, 16, I've always known what I've wanted. So like, with like in saying that, like I feel I've always like you need to get into employment, whether it's education, football, in which I've worked in, and all that type of stuff. But I've never been like 10 toes deep in I'm going to work, if that makes any sense, or I'm here for the long haul. I'm here for the next say 5-10 years, and I'm gonna do this, and this. Whereas like with what I want as such, I'm forever seeing that goal or that thing as such. So I'm always like, probably very similar to when you mentioned your dad, because I found that quite interesting. You're always navigating left, like bobbing and weaving, trying to get to what might be this said goal. Do you know what I mean? But there are like, I would say there are strong influences. Obviously my dad, you know what I mean? Obviously him being a black cabbie, I guess, and working hard. Obviously you see those things, those influences which encourage you to go to work, or in fact, just his general presence, generally speaking, wouldn't allow you to just mope around anyway. So, yeah, I guess that was a strong influence. My mum wouldn't allow me to mope around as such, you know what I mean? Whether it was in education or even come or to do with work, they would ask me questions as to what do I want to do, all that type of stuff. I'd always kind of like evade the question or not provide the right answer, because I guess maybe what I wanted was, might be typical black African, what I want is not what you want. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, I think I had loads of different influences. And I find it very difficult to pin down whether I've been 10 toes deep in terms of like going into work 9 to 5, or whether I've been like 10 toes deep going into what might be self-employment. I've always been like, I'm here for a few years and I'm here for a few years, if that makes any sense. And I thought about that today, actually, as to whether that's kind of like held me back. Yeah. I didn't even know that question was coming, but like I thought about that today.
Okay.
I thought about it, so I don't know if that's the question, but I thought about it as in, maybe because she was saying she wished she was maybe a bit like me, or I knew what she wished she knew what she wanted, or I was telling her story, so I think she found them very interesting. Do you know what I mean? And she was able to very much relate to them, and she was talking about her dad. Do you know what I mean? And so on and so forth, and yeah, just found them very interesting. But no, as I approached 40, do you know what I mean? I sat and I thought to myself, cool, I've probably been in employment for 15 years, a bit more than 15 years, but I thought about it. I thought, what have I done within those 15 years? Do you know what I mean? Even from, because I was listening to the book today. So I was listening to the assets chapter. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that, it must have influenced me, but I was thinking to myself, what have I done that's allowed me to amass loads of money? To amass loads of money. And I would say is that I don't think I've been anywhere long enough where I've I don't think I've been anywhere long enough. I don't know if that makes sense. As in like, God, I struggle to explain myself today to this girl too. And maybe I'm thinking as I'm speaking as to, cool, if you know you've got your degree, all right? You've got your sports and exercise science degree, all right? I'm going into sports therapy. If you're doing that for 5, 10, 15 years, you know, as the time develops or as time goes on, you're going to get promotions, you might move jobs, etc., etc. And as you move jobs, you're going to get, I like to believe you're going to get paid more. Whereas I don't think that's necessarily been the case for me. Whereas I've been involved in football, and at the time when I was involved in football was more part-time-ish in terms of you got your coaching role, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't really know any real full-time coaching roles. And you might be able to even back me up in that respect, in that you did a sports science degree too, as in you may or may not know whether that
sports therapy.
So they always do that.
It's different caliber.
Yeah, all right, they do always do that. All right, okay, cool.
Saying.
So no, I guess my point is that like
basic.
Did you find like when you finished your degree there was loads of opportunities to get into that, or you know what I mean? I've never found those loads of opportunities. So
nah, there wasn't at the time, especially when I graduated in 08. So that was when the crash happened or whatever. So there was no jobs. There was nothing going on. So yeah, for me it was definitely hard getting a job. I didn't get a job at that time.
So there's whereas now it's a completely different ball game. The industry is massive. There's loads of jobs available. So I guess what I'm saying is like I came out in a time or graduated at a time where like I just like the idea of going into sports, like getting a job in in football.
That field,
That field just didn't really make sense. So like I was working part-time in football. Lucky enough I was like scouting, like senior scout, like doing academy stuff, all that type of stuff. And yeah, it paid my bills and did stuff. And mind you, at the time, like I was living out. So I felt comfortable. Like I was only working 2 hours a day and it was enough to pay for everything and more. You know, and probably was a little bit lazy. I probably should have got another job, you know, and that should have been my secondary income. But with where I was at the time, I thought it was cool. Do you know what I mean? But I guess my point is that like I've never been somewhere long enough. I've just constantly flip-flopped. So like involved in football for a period of time, then went into education, didn't plan on staying there for very, very long, went back into football, you know, and, you know, just steady Eddie in some respect. Do you know what I mean? So I've just thought about that over the past maybe a day or so as to, you know, should I have done something differently or what happened? Yeah. So our influences are wide and varying.
But where would you say that they're from both parents or from outside influences?
I really don't know. I think obviously both my mum and my dad would have had like influence on my employment, but I'm going to say probably more outside really. I don't think I've like, generally speaking, taken loads of inspiration, let's say from, I don't know if this comes across wrong, from my mum and dad in regards to, let's say maybe what they do. And mind you, that might be everybody to be fair, actually. I guess what I want to do or what I've always aspired to do is completely different from what they generally did or even spoke of in the house. Do you know what I mean? So I guess my influences, my outside influences would have been things I was seeing on TV or around in some respect, because obviously we were playing football, do you know what I mean? Or I got into coaching and that type of stuff quite young. So it might have been those individuals around me in some respect.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I was fortunate that I saw both sides of the coin, where my mum was always in full-time employment, whereas my dad was self-employed. He's a pattern maker, not a tailor, because if you know anything about that world, it's like you saying I've done sports science and I've done sports therapy.
Okay.
It's two different kind of playing with you.
I know, I was thinking.
No, the fact is I saw both sides. So I saw employment, I saw self-employment, I saw employment. So I always knew what hard work looked like from my parents. Also saw what it looked like from a self-employment view standpoint. I used to see my dad obviously be up at all kind of hours, working on his sewing machine, doing his thing at ungodly hours, constantly, all the time. And I also saw my mum going to work 9 to 5 every day, just the same pattern, but working hard as well, sometimes on the weekends as well. So yeah, I saw both. I was affected by both sides. Then, like you were saying, P, the outside environment of where you grow up, the people that you're around, they become influence as well. So you see people either just going to work as normal 9 to 5s, and you also see people doing certain things for living a certain lifestyle. So it's just like, okay, it's different. It's just a different influence. But yeah, I think I'm privileged in that I saw both sides of the coin, that I was able to be raised in a home with mum and dad and seeing both sides of that coin. So I can do either. Like I can go to work and do the 9 to 5 thing, even though it's not entirely in me to just be happy with that. I could do it and it's okay. But at the same time, I've got that, all right, I want to go up and create my own opportunities and do my own thing. So yeah.
Cool.
All right, so just to preface this next part, Jason has just attempted and failed at buying and selling cars.
Tried that too.
Yeah?
Yeah, Lawrence might have mentioned that before when we were together, like boxing. This was mad. We bought, I think it was a Punto. All right. And it was at Lawrence, anyway, it was basically by his, do you know what I mean? And I don't want to go into the full story as such, but a car got smashed. He's definitely mentioned this story before, quite recently.
Okay.
Anyway, car got smashed, as in like let's say someone drunk drive.
Okay, yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. Someone like specific car got smashed. Do you know what I mean? And that was the end of that. If I'm honest, do you know what I mean? that was our foray, boy. We were in and out. Do you know what I mean? If I'm honest, it was so long ago that I can't remember like the entire story, but I do remember like that's what happened. Do you know what I mean? It was a case of, do you know what? That's the end of that. And let's just leave it. Do you know what I mean?
So you didn't actually sell a car?
Yeah, bought and lost. And bought and lost the car.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he done the same thing. He attempted and failed at buying and selling cars. All right. So it's fair to say that the failure is inevitable, and even some of the world's greatest names have had their fair share. Thomas Edison, the man responsible for making significant advancements to the design of the light bulb by introducing a bamboo filament, is perhaps the best known example. He wrote a letter that it took his factory 2,774 attempts before the lamps were adequate for commercial production. Some will regard this as having failed 2,774 times, and most people would have given up somewhere along the way. Failing repeatedly can take its toll, but in the case of Mr. Edison and his factory, they were seeing incremental progress each time. So what might appear as failure to some was simply a process of refinement to them. That's on page 53. How do you view failure, and what do you do when faced with it?
I've been thinking about this a lot recently as well, because me and you've had like discussions, not necessarily about failure, but like discussions on change, let's say. All right, and I actually had the same conversation with Oscar and Lawrence on yesterday. Sunday. And I was talking about myself, but I was saying we've had like wider conversations in regards to that. Do you know what I'm saying? I said I'm not too sure why that is the case. But everyone's going through changes in life. But I said I wasn't too sure if it's a case of changing 40, turning 40 soon, or it might be a case of going through a lot in life at this moment in time, which would be true. But a lot of things have put me in a place where I'm beginning to think, and failure. Like I would say this year, I mean, I know we're talking about this year, but generally speaking, this year has been good, but there's been a lot of failure along the way. And I think with that, obviously there are a lot of lessons in that. But like you sometimes ask yourself along this journey, when are one of these lessons gonna pop off? And I say that jokingly, all right, but like in life, yes, it's all well and good getting knocked down 9 times, but like at some given point, you know, you want to be able to stand on your feet and for it to work out. And in this, back to I think maybe your earlier question, I forget what it was, but like when you're on this journey in terms of whether it's employment or self-employment, you will constantly ask yourself questions as to, am I doing the right thing? You know, as to like, okay, cool, I'm doing this self-employment thing, I'm driving for a living, all right, and I'm trying to figure things out, or I know where I'm going, but I'm trying to figure things out. Are we ever going to figure things out? You know, so you ask yourself those questions, you know, and yeah, you forever asking yourself those questions. In particular, this week, actually, I've asked myself a lot of questions, and sometimes people, it might be an Oscar or like specific, an Oscar or Lawrence. Generally speaking, we're together when we're having these discussions, but like then we're like, do you know what? I think you should be doing this, you know, or da 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 da. And I think maybe today I said, okay, yeah, maybe I should be doing this, but then I always think to myself, like, I don't like being a flip-flopper. Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, like, you're going in this direction, but because you're experiencing hard times, it doesn't necessarily mean you should start moving left and moving right. Like, continue going straight. Doesn't mean everything's going to work out, but if you're constantly moving to the left and moving to the right, then you're going to never really be, I don't know, I don't want to say a professional, but you're never going to be great in something, or you'll never know because you're not really staying true to what is your path. That's it. that's that, mate.
So okay, cool. Anyway, failure for me. So I can take, like, if I fail at something, I can be frustrated in the moment, and that frustration, when I refer to the term the moment, that's not necessarily a minute or an hour or a day or a week. It could be it could be all of those or just one of those. But generally speaking, it's just you have to get up and go again. Like, whether that's doing the same thing again or just putting that to the side and saying, all right, cool, that's happened now, move on. And I think as I get or I've gotten older, I realize more and more that shit happens, man. Like you just gotta keep it moving, regardless. It is what it is, and more of experiences you have in life, you just realize life goes on. You just go on. You need to take that time out and have that moment to feel sorry for yourself. It's okay. Do you get what I'm saying? Just don't let that be, or don't let that moment kind of over. You know what I'm saying? Like, just take over take over. Like if you're the type of person that needs that moment. Something as small as I haven't played for a few weeks, but Tuesday on a football. If I lose that match, I'm angry. Like I'm angry, but then by the next day I can reflect and say, yo, I had a good workout. You know, I'm gonna get to play again. That's the positive. And you know, I've had time to just like, it's not that deep. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes in the moment you can get caught up, and it's just about like remembering it's a moment in time that will pass. So that's how I kind of view failure. Like, try and like at that time it's happened, try and have that kind of thought that this will pass, even though it's difficult in the moment. Okay. That's how I deal with failure, thinking that, knowing that it will move on. Like it's fine. Like it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go back to your point though, Pete. Like, do you think either Hollywood or society sold us, and I mean sold society, a dream that everyone's arc is to the pot of gold?
I think you articulate that very well. So you can say,
I got two things to say, but if you're something on your,
I think so. I think so. I think we're I don't want to say sold a dream, but I think we're generally speaking, I think we're told if we work hard, things will work out well. But that's not necessarily true.
It's not true at all.
It's not true at all.
All right, so
sorry, you were going to say something.
There was two things. Yeah, when you asked that question, Fresh, what come to mind? I don't know if you was there at the time. I just remember being in a car with Loz and Dermot. Must have been coming back from a rave. That's more often not when we've been.
Yeah. That's what I yeah, I know you're talking about anyway.
Man, like,
why are you laughing? That's true.
Yeah.
More often not would have been come back from some kind of dance. That's more often not when we was with Dermot, right? And I remember, because just for context, Dermot say like 3 or 4 years older than us.
Yeah.
And he was just working crazy hours, like 14, 15 hour days. Like I think he was doing removals at the time.
Something like that, yeah.
He was doing removals, just getting paid, but he was working like, let's say like Monday to Saturday, every day, 15 hours, 14 to 15 hours, like crazy. And then there was a conversation going on, and it was something along the lines of, from Dermot's point of view, at some point you just got to realize the dream you had is like, you just got to almost like become more realistic and say, I just got to like do this or just do whatever to sustain, maintain, provide all of the above. I think lots of the comments says, "Nah, not me. I'm gonna make it. like, nah, not me. I'm gonna make it."
It ain't changed.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember just thinking that is like stubborn. Not stubborn.
No, but
not stubborn in a bad way.
I think in a positive way.
Stubborn in a good way. Because I'll go back. I've got plenty of stories about that, like Loz in itself, but like you said, in a good way. And then there was something else I wanted to say as well, and it slipped my mind. That was one thing that rang bells. What was your question? What was your thing you referred back to Pox? Because
the arc, as in everyone gonna make it.
That's it. So when I was a kid, I only thought about this the other day. Like, I don't know why it came to mind. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a news presenter.
Okay.
Do you know that? I used to think, I want to do that. News presenter. Little did I know, like, not that I had zero chance, but I had probably 0.01 percentile above zero chance of ever getting to that point of someone being on BBC or ITV News. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, not realising what it took to get that. I just thought, oh yeah, I'm going to do that one day, man. Like, not realising, I didn't really do the research, but not realising the chance of me getting to that position is and was minuscule.
So why'd you say that?
So, because French made the point about this dream that we're sold, that you can kind of be what you want to be, like, be everything you want to be. If you have a dream, you'll definitely get there. Just keep working hard. Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. Like, not that we have different views. Not that we have different views or opinions. It's a case of like, the girl who I spoke to today, again, I forget where we were in the conversation, but she was talking about script writing. This is far away from what she did for her degree. She did something in pharmaceuticals. So she was talking about script writing, and she said like she would show it to her friends, and videos as well, and they'll say that's awesome, you should put it out, and then she never would. And then somewhere in the conversation, I was like, with some of the stuff that I've done, if I don't believe in me, then there's no way in hell I can expect anyone else to believe in me. Certainly at my age, but certainly when you're younger, like I think you should be a bit more fearless. Do you know what I'm saying? It's funny actually, because I thought about you at that moment actually, because I remember this is something you've said a few times as to like putting out content. And 2-3 weeks, like you put something out in 2-3 days time.
Your old news.
Yeah. I thought of you
It's
at that specific moment.
That I've realised, especially because I know that even to do with like our thing and, you know, people are going to be out. And I realised we're in a day and age where we're old news as soon as it's released. Do you get what I'm saying? It's old news as soon as it's like, if that makes sense. Something else is coming out at that same moment, 5 seconds later, that's now, do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was going to add, so Jake, all right? Now, it'd be interesting to get his take and opinion on where he is now, all right? Whereas when we were, I'll go down as far as saying 10, 11, 12, like him being anything other than a journalist, I wouldn't have seen it. Just based on what I saw, as in like, he was writing articles for, in the Gazette, and the things that like his dad would do and put in place in regards to him, like, I don't know, just doing those articles, or remember Jake, this person scored this, that, not that he didn't remember. Yeah. What I'm saying is, I forget where I was going with this, is you're talking about the art. I don't know, I just feel like if you've got certain things in place in some respect, there's no reason why he was never going to be one. Whereas with yourself and becoming a news presenter, if there was 1 or 2 minor things just in place, particularly, I mean, now's a completely different day and time, there's no reason why you couldn't have been something alternative or different to what would be a presenter. There's loads of different people that I know who had different desires in regards to what they wanted to do, and I just feel like, look, mind you, I feel like there's a lot of talented people within our circle. And I genuinely believe if like people believed enough, there's no doubt in my mind they'll go on to achieve what they want to achieve. Do you know what I mean? Some of the things we discussed over the past week or so, and I just discussed this with Lawrence and Oscar, as to like mentors, back to even Jake. Do you know what I mean? His dad obviously living. Do you know what I mean? Jake. Blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? And you've got that pathway. Bam. You know what I mean? He's a bona fide journalist. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what level you are, but he's a proper journalist. Do you know what I'm saying? It's of no surprise to me. From the moment I started playing football with this dude, he was writing articles in the local paper. Do you know what I mean? He was cutting them out every single, look at me. I was putting his name in there, but like, fit his name in there somewhere. But like, joking in some respect, because obviously he was either scoring or But what I'm saying is like, he put in the work. It's of no surprise to me him being a journalist. Do you know what I mean? But as you were saying, also, as I was saying, as to mentors, I feel if you've got certain things and people in place and you believe in yourself, no reason why not. Do you know what I mean? What I was talking about earlier before, these are just blips or back to failure. These are just blips, you know what I mean? Just a sudden loss in confidence or what have you. So you're going to question so many different things. Yeah. Who, what, where, why. I was only saying the other day, man, I've been sleeping like Saturday, Sunday. No, I don't do that. Do you know what I mean? That'll pass.